Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 279 of a year of change. Today we're finishing off, well, not sort of finishing off the week, but we're coming up to the end of our first week, and we haven't really done anything new. A lot of this week has just sort of been, gathering everything together and sort of revisiting a few things that we looked at before. But today I want to sort of get things started on new stuff in preparation for next week. For next week. Now, we've actually, the documentary that's going up today, we've seen this in a number of different series on this before. We had The Truth About Fat, The Truth About Calories, The Truth About Sugar, and once again, they have not disappointed. There is one up there now called The Truth About Exercise. And it's a bit older. It's prior to 2012, I know that much. But once again, it sort of gives us a nice overall view of exercise in general. Now, I do want to sort of stress this before we go any further, that over the next few weeks when we're going to be looking at exercise and documentaries and stuff like that, I don't want you to think that this is something that's going to be, okay, well now here's the exercise video that you need to do, or you need to try anything that's in here, or this is what we're going to be, this is what we have to look forward to. When we were doing the food stuff, a lot of it was just sort of gathering the information and doing what we could with it, making up our own mind and saying, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. When we're looking at sugar and fat and all the other stuff, I mean, everybody pretty much knows that, this is junk food, this is healthy food, so you can make your own decision that way. When it comes to exercise, though, it's different for everybody. There's some stuff that I'm going to be able to do, you're not going to be able to do. And some of the stuff that you're going to be doing on a regular basis, there's no way in hell I would ever be able to do. So it's just sort of I'm going to give the warning now, so I don't have to do it every single week, that when we're starting in on this exercise stuff, go at a pace that you're comfortable with, go at a pace that you'll be able to sustain and that you'll be able to improve upon as things go. Don't hurt yourself. We aren't starting a workout routine. We aren't starting a workout video series. We aren't starting any of that stuff. This is basically the same thing that we did on day one when we started tracking food, that we need to change the way that we look at food, the way that we react to it. We need to stop the overeating, slowly switch over to a healthier diet. Same thing goes with exercise. We aren't going to be doing something that's going to say, okay, well now this is how we have to get ready for an hour-long workout every day. We have to add weight training. We have to add cardio. We have to do all this other stuff in there. All that we're doing is gathering more information at this stage. And as things progress, that you're going to be able to say, okay, I need to change the way that I can react to exercise. I need to sort of start being more active, even if it just means, even at the very end of everything, if the only activity that you're doing is going for, a half-hour walk somewhere, or going for a swim, or lifting weights, whatever it is that you decide to do, that's the main thing, is just so that we're active, or more active than we are now, and that you can keep improving on that and get to a point where you're comfortable and where you can maintain your weight and everything else. So that's my little lecture. That's my, tisk tisk, don't do anything bad to hurt your muscles and everything. I was going to say your bum muscles. I don't know why. Anyway, your bum muscles, your head muscles, your foot muscles, your teeth muscles, your eyelash muscles, all the muscles, all the other stuff, just make sure you don't hurt yourself. So, having said that, this documentary that's on today, I will warn you up front, when I'm going through documentaries and stuff, generally speaking, the videos get deleted quite frequently. So I have to go back up and I have to find them. So sometimes you'll look at the list, the playlist that's there, and you'll see a video that's gone. Don't worry, usually within a week I'll be able to find another example of it. I'll put it up. So there's some stuff that's been deleted 2 and 3 times. It's still up there now because I just find another source for it. The source that's up there right now is a little weird because they speed it up. The people who have uploaded this have sped it up. Speeded it. It's all speedy. They've sped up the timeline probably by 10-15%. It's enough that everyone sounds like they're just on the touch of helium. And so it's not quite an hour long. It should be, but it's about 10 minutes shorter than that. So that math doesn't work, does it? So it's probably about 13% faster. Anyway, so that's not the real voices, but it's kind of funny. The only other thing too is that this one does not seem to like mobile devices. I'm gonna go. I was gonna say. I'm gonna cough. I'm alright. Okay. Oh, that was gross. As you can see, he's still a little bit sick, but the video doesn't seem to like mobile device. I should start this over, but I'm not going to because I'll just keep going. The video itself doesn't seem to like mobile devices very much. It'll have a tiny little screen and then two borders on the other end. But if you watch it on your PC, it seems to be fine. I don't know why. I think it's just how they've uploaded it. But either way, the information is there, and that's the important thing. So now that we've gone through the whole precursor, I've done my warning, I've done my little video warning, I've done my video history lesson, and all the other shit, we are now already 6 minutes in. All right, now to get to the meat and potatoes of it. This is done by Horizon, the same people that did all the truth about fat and sugar and everything else. And it touches on a lot of different aspects of exercise. It talks about whether we should be going to the gym an hour a day, whether we should be just sort of slowly moving throughout the day. It talks about how people respond to exercise, whether one person can exercise for an hour and get a big benefit out of it, and another person can do the exact same exercise and not get as much of a benefit out of it. So I want to put something out there to say, when you're watching this, don't just automatically think, well, it's genetics. I'm not going to gain as much benefit as someone else with exercise. We always are. There are certain things. We've kept things very, very simple. If we were to boil everything down, it's eat less, do more. That was sort of where we started. We've grown since then. We know that a calorie isn't just a calorie. But the basic math is there that if you expend more calories than you take in, you have to lose weight. There's no way around it. You're not going to keep gaining if you're expending more energy than you're taking in. So there are certain things that you can sort of take into account that way. And this does touch on that, but it goes so much deeper because it does show that an exercise for one person that would be considered mild is going to be vigorous for another, which we kind of knew. Pretty much every exercise for us really is tough. But as you go on, it does also talk about how your body does sort of start getting used to doing exercise, which is why the exercises get easier. It talks about a whole slew of stuff. And it does also touch on something that I have seen a few times before called HIIT, H-I-I-T. I think it's high intensity interval training is what I think it stands for. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And during the course of the documentary, the guy decides, you know what, I'm going to try this for 4 weeks. And overall does a total of 12 minutes of exercise over 12 weeks, or over 4 weeks, sorry. So 3 minutes a week, it roughly averages out to, I think, 1 minute every other day. And he just does this really super, super high intensity training because there's a theory that whether you go for an hour-long walk at the end of the day, or if you do this high intent, like you just push yourself as hard as you possibly can for 20 seconds, and then you pause, and then you do it again for 20 seconds, how that affects your metabolism. And if you tend to continue to burn a little bit longer throughout the course of the day with that new stuff, so they do look at that as well. They look at the amount of oxygen that you burn and how that can tell how many calories that you've burned. We've seen that before as well with the Truth About Fat. But there's a tremendous amount of information packed into it. But I find the main thing that I took away from it was just everyone at some point, we do need to be more active. And whether it's just simply getting up and stretching when we're at work. A lot of us have a job where we're sitting at a desk and we're staring at a computer all day. Then we come home, we sit, we watch TV. So, the majority of our life, we aren't really doing much of anything. So by even just improving that a little bit, there are great benefits from it. And we've known that for quite some time, which is why we started so far back, just sort of touch it. I keep saying sort of a lot. I'm sorry. Why we started so far back, just introducing little bits of exercise here and there. And a lot of us have kept on with it. We're still doing a regular routine. But as things progress over the next few weeks, I don't want to get to a point where we're saying, all right, well, this week we're now going to double the intensity and we're going to start increasing this and increasing that. Ideally, we all need to get to a point where we're being active, maybe not every day, but at least on a regular basis, every other day or 3 times a week or something like that. And as you progress, you're going to naturally want to improve on that. You're going to want to increase your speed or increase the amount of weight that you're lifting or increase the time that you're out doing your walk. Whatever it is that you're doing, that naturally sort of comes because you really get to a point where you think, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. When I was doing my treadmill, I mean, I can go for a regular walk for half an hour, but it feels like, what's the point? I've been, thankfully, the job that I'm doing now, I'm sort of getting up every once in a while and moving around and walking back and forth. But in general, I'm still sedentary. So even that half an hour, and this week has been rough for that, just because I've been sick, I haven't been able to really breathe all that well, as you can tell. That I do as much as I can, and even if it's just walking, but I don't feel like I'm doing as much as I should be. So that feeling will come in time, where you're going to want to improve on that. You're going to want to increase either the intensity or the duration or whatever it is that you decide to do for your activity. That's going to come naturally. And you're going to know whether or not you're going to hurt yourself, hopefully. So try not to do that. Although in the documentary, he does hurt himself right at the onset. He takes 3 steps and hurts himself doing it while he's trying to either participate or show off or just doesn't want to lose. Whatever the situation was, he hurt himself when he was trying to run. So don't do that. But with anything, obviously, I mean, if you can, go talk to your doctor and say, here's what I'm planning on doing. Where should I start? What should I do? Chances are they're going to say, well, start with a 5K. That's not going to happen. We're going to start very, very, very small and just gradually build our way up and try to get to a point where we're doing it on a regular basis. For those of you that aren't. For those of you that are still doing it, that are still going 2-3 days a week and you're doing stuff, then at the very least, you'll be able to still take away some information from this. And at the very least, it's interesting information that you can sort of adapt to what you're trying to do. And as I say, although some of it says, well, a lot of it is genetics, whether or not you respond well to exercise. Everybody responds at some point. It's just that there are some people that gain a greater benefit from it. And that's the genetic part. So I don't want you to get discouraged and think, well, there's no point in me exercising because I'm not going to do anything. And although exercise is a very small part of weight loss, it is helpful to get us healthier and get us more fit, to get us to where we want to be. Just watching what we eat is not going to do it all. Besides, we want to feel better and look better and everything else. Part of it is shallow, which is fine. You're allowed to be shallow. So that's sort of an aspect of it as well. So don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Keep on going. And you will get to where you need to be. So over the next few weeks, though, we're going to make little tweaks here and there. At the end of it, you're going to be able to do regular activity. Doesn't matter what it is, just something to keep you going so that when you can look back 12 weeks from now, you'll be able to say, I'm doing much more than I was before. You might even rhyme it like that. I'm doing much more activity than I was 12 weeks ago. And for those of you that are still doing it, then hopefully at the very least, you'll see a bit of an improvement there. And it'll get us on the right path so that as we progress past this year, we'll know where we can improve and what things that we can change that are going to be safe for us and that's going to be beneficial. And things that it's not just going to throw us into the deep water, and I was going to try to say overboard, and then I went deep water. Some other pirate metaphor, if you like, but something that we're going to understand before we sort of jump in and hurt ourselves. Because that's sort of a big worry for me, that I'm going to do something and go, well, I can try this, and then just wreck myself. So check yourself before you do that. Put a bump. But for right now, I'm going to leave this video here, so I'll put the documentary in the playlist, the recommended viewing, as per usual. It's called The Truth About Exercise, and aside from the little squeaky voices, it's very good information, so I think you'll like it. But now I'm going to leave this video here, so thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.